Thank you very much. The next question is in the name of Deputy Terence Flanagan. Deputy Flanagan.
Thanks, Laskin Corley. It's just a question to the Minister to ask him about his strategy, his plan for Howth Harbour, which obviously is a fishery harbour as well as containing marine leisure and tourism.
Thank you, Minister.
Can I thank Deputy Flanagan for this question, because I know he's interested in Howth Harbour. Howth Fisheries Harbour is one of 6 designated fishery harbour centres which are owned, managed and maintained by my department. All 6 fishery centres are first and foremost working fishery harbours. However, each centre has unique features which facilitate a broad range of other diverse activities which are important from both an economic and a social perspective, in particular in Howth actually. It's multiple uses there. My department is conscious of the importance of both fishing and non-fishing activities at the harbours and endeavours to facilitate and develop both. This involves day-to-day operational support by harbour staff and management, and development and repair of infrastructure subject to available financial resources. Howth Fishery Harbour is no exception to this diversity. While first and foremost a working fishery harbour, my department is conscious that it is also a very important tourist destination, in addition to being a major venue for leisure activities with a wide range of recreational users of the harbour, including the yacht club, sport fishermen, walkers, tourists and other social users. There's also a significant number of businesses, particularly restaurants, operating in the harbour. With that in mind, the department is anxious to increase the profile of the harbour for the betterment of the wider community. Notwithstanding the prevailing economic environment in which we operate, I am happy to advise at the House that in excess of £3.2 million has been invested in maintenance, development and upgrading works at Howth Harbour as part of my department's Fishery Harbour and Coastal Infrastructure Development Programme from 2011 to 2013. This investment has resulted in a significant improvement in the electrical infrastructure available, the traffic management system and the access available to persons of reduced mobility. It has also served as a catalyst for the enhancement of facilities available to the marine leisure and tourism sector, boat repair facilities and indeed business generally in the harbour.
Thank you, Minister. The rest of the Prime Minister will be in the official report.
Just to say, in March 2014 I've approved funding of £1.18 million for the maintenance and development of and further development of the harbour, Deputy.
Thank you, Minister. Deputy Flanagan.
Thank you, and I thank the Minister for his response. I know he's no stranger to visiting Howth, and you're very aware of the natural beauty. It's such a hugely scenic location, and its connectivity, I suppose, with the city, considering the Dart finishes up there in Howth. But to ask you, Minister, or to make the point that the harbour itself is very much underutilised, that there are issues there, long-standing issues regarding leases on some of the vacant properties, and that some of the frontage of the shops and the units could be very much improved upon. Just wondering if you could set out what plan, what vision you have yourself for the harbour and for the other fishery harbours. It clearly is underutilised, particularly regarding marine leisure and tourism as well. There's just huge potential there, really. I know you need a stream of income there, but if the vacant properties were all leased out properly, there would be more income there. But there's dredging, as you're aware, to be done in the harbour as well, and on other jobs. The whole area, I suppose, to ask about ship repairing, that doesn't take place there, and boat repairs, that sadly that actually takes place in Kilkeel in County Down, because of an underinvestment in that area. So if you could respond to that, Minister, as to what actions you might be in a position to take.
I call on the Minister.
Yeah, no, just to give you an idea of the expenditure there in 2014 and the approved funding in 2014. So, for example, we approved the design and planning for pontoons between the Middle and West Pier. That was 100,000. Nearly 60,000 of that has been spent. There's a sinker lift platform for painting and repairs. There was 80,000 assigned for that. 45,000 of it has been spent. Upgrading of the navigational lights and markers, 20,000, and that has been more than spent, in fact. East Pier repairs, 150,000. 111,000 has been spent. Upgrading of the electrical system, where there was actually major problems there, by the way, for businesses and and harbour users. $500,000 was allocated for that, and most of that's been spent. Disability access, 20,000 has been spent. Safety and maintenance, 310,000, and most of that has been spent. So, 1.18 million allocated, and over $1 million has been spent. So there's no lack of commitment to this harbour from us in our department. But we share this facility with other users as well. And Howth has extraordinary potential, in my view, as a leisure harbour as well as a fisheries harbour. I know Howth Yacht Club very well, and I've been there many times. And so there is significant potential for leisure, for tourism, for passenger ferries coming in and out of there, perhaps small passenger ferries taking people around Dublin Bay. I know there was a project to connect up Dunleary with Howth, for example, last year, and we spoke to the Department of Tourism about putting a kiosk in place in Howth to facilitate that. So we'll continue to work with partners to try and build broad commercial activity in the harbour, but we must also maintain a functioning fishing harbour as well.
Thank you, Minister.
In the context of developing those other activities.
Thank you, Laskin Corlin. I appreciate the Minister's response, but there has been a sizable amount of investment, as you state, Minister. But there is a situation where repair work to boats is actually taking place up in County Down rather than here, so the state is actually losing money in that regard. There also is the issue of leases on properties as well, and empty properties as well, where the state should be collecting money on those properties. So hopefully that's something that could be looked at further. There is concern out there in Howth that it can take a long time to get decision making to be made, and that I know the decisions are made down in Clonakilty, and that does be an ongoing criticism out there with the length of time it's taken. So just hoping that you will be able to follow through, particularly about ensuring that the harbour is used more for boat repairs.
Thank you, Minister.
I can assure you, making decisions in Clonakilty doesn't delay anything. That's where much of the Department of Marine is actually based now, but it's a pretty efficient operation. And BIM, of course, who are also involved in a lot of the fishery development programmes in Howth and elsewhere, their headquarters is in Dunleary, even though they have a seafood development programme down in Clonakilty as well. What I would say is there are issues around leasing arrangements in all of our fishing harbours. There are some people, for example, who owe money and who aren't paying up, and we need to pursue them because we're trying to run commercial harbours as well as try to facilitate business growth and employment creation and so on. And there's always an element of friction between landlords and tenants in some of these industrial units. And that's the same in some of our other fisheries harbours as well. So there are some individual examples, we've spoken about them before, where we're trying to make progress with the tenant and the business that's operating there. Sometimes it's difficult to do that. Sometimes there are court cases involved.
Thank you, Minister.
Which prevents me from being able to speak about it. But I take the point. If there are vacant properties in somewhere like Howth, which is potentially a very attractive destination for businesses like seafood processing and restaurants and food development, and indeed tourist development, we should be looking at the opportunities when we can.
Thank you, Minister. We have to go now to